One day, this guy, Reed, he's at work, and he gets a phone call. And it's his wife, this woman, Quinn. And she tells him she's been kidnapped from their home at gunpoint by a group of Albanians. And she says if he calls police, they'll shoot her. So anyway, he calls the police, and the police go and search Reed's house, and they find this ransom note. Basically says they took Reed's wife, and he needs to give the kidnappers 50 grand, or they're going to unalive her. And Reed, he's scared. He doesn't know what to do. The next day, the kidnappers force Quinn to call Reed a couple of times. She tells him that the Albanians want him to drop off the $50,000 at 2 different Chick-fil-A's. So Reed, he gets the money, and he goes to the Chick-fil-A's to drop it off. And of course, he's working with police, so undercover cops follow him the whole way there. Then the Albanians show up to the Chick-fil-A's, but they can see that undercover cops are low-key all around, and they get nervous and they just keep driving. So that drop didn't work. So then the next day, the Albanians get Quinn's phone and they text Quinn's mother. They now want Quinn's mother to get the money from Reed and then go and make the drop. Mostly because they think she hasn't been compromised by police. Of course she has. She's working directly with them. But the kidnappers want her to drop it off in the parking lot of a Joe's Crab Shack. So anyway, Quinn's mother goes to Joe's Crab Shack to drop off the money. And undercover cops are following her the whole way. So she gets to Joe's Crab Shack, she drops off the bag of money in the parking lot, and then some random college guys who just happen to be walking by find it, and they're like, hey, look at that, we found a bag of money. So then police have to go and get it back from them. So then that money drop didn't work either, and by this point, the Albanians are pissed. And they try to schedule another drop-off, but that one fails too. And it seems like these Albanian kidnappers are never gonna get their money, and that Quinn might not survive this. Until, after 3 days of trying to get this 50 grand, the Albanians suddenly just give up. And they just dump Quinn off in some local parking lot. And her clothes are all torn and she's freaking out. And so police bring her in and they talk to her and they ask her what happened. She tells them she was kidnapped from her home by some Albanians. They tied her up and they took her to a warehouse where they SA'd her. Then they took her to a motel where they put a pew-pew to her head and they forced her to call Reed and ask for ransom money. Then she starts suggesting to police that maybe Reed was in on the kidnapping. And maybe he concocted this whole elaborate plot because he wants her dead. And if that isn't crazy enough, then Quinn's story changes a little. She had originally said 3 Albanians kidnapped her, but now she's telling police it was only 1 guy who did it. And she starts pointing fingers at this guy, who we'll call Boz. Boz is a local car mechanic, and he's not Albanian, he's actually from Bosnia. So police go and find Boz, and they bring him in, and they question him, and that is when Boz drops a bomb on everyone.